brake line's all finished up. As you can see on this left side brake line, we were able to run it right down the corner so that it's completely out of the way. We'll be able to tie our oil lines to it. Other things, battery cable if we need to. Keeping it down, way down in that corner, just keeps everything sanitary. Yeah, it may get some rubber and some grime down in there, but it'll be easy to blow out and keep clean. It's not going to get damaged. It's completely out of the way if the drive shaft was to break. It's just a good, safe way to do it. This is the right rear brake line. This is our left rear brake line. As you can see, it's going to run right underneath that oil tank, but it's tucked right into that corner, so it's completely safe. The brake lines I am using are basically a -3 set brake line. You can see it's still a double flare, but I use a ferrule, which I'll show you in a second, and a nut on top of that. I've used the 76 series Tilton Master cylinders, and in there I screw in a -3 to a -3 bulkhead. You can see this is the type of fitting that it uses. If you get a bulkhead, it's going to be long enough to seal at the bottom. If it's a straight, you come right out of that with that top male nipple and you screw your brake line right into it. It's a nice, clean, easy way to do it, and I think it's really pretty and sanitary. Here's the coil tube that I use. It's 25 foot. It comes in just this big coil. And here you see, this is exactly what I'm using, the ALL 48040 3/16 steel zinc coated. It's 25 foot long. You just uncoil it, use it as you need it. This is the typical type nut that you would use, but this is the type that I am using. It's 3/16 line. I use the -3. There's the tube nut, which is this portion, and there is the ferrule or the sleeve, which is that portion. Each line has two, and they come in 2-packs, so you buy a pair for each line that you build. You can use the steel ones. I don't know. I just like the black ones. Since I got all the brake lines done, I was able to finish mocking up my front suspension. This is just so that I can get it over, get the body measured up. Everything's kind of in the right spot. This is not exactly what I'm going to run. I'm going to build new uppers for it. I've still got to do some squaring and some other things on the lowers, measure the roll center out and configure all that. But it's mocked up close enough to where I can measure it and I can start hanging the body. I was able to get the seat insert in today and get all my belts preset. I'm happy with where everything's at there. We can finish up this interior, other than I know I'm going to have to cut my shifter out. So before I go too far, I'm going to slide the engine in, mark where my shifter's at, pull these pieces out, finish my shifter cut out, and then be ready to go forward with riveting in all the rest of my interior. I got the rear end mocked up. This is not the rear end we're going to be using. This is just the one we're going to use for mock-up out of our other Fury. We have not received the new one yet. So this one will do to mock up and start hanging the body. But she's now ready to be put on the ground and be put on the plate so we can start slamming a body on this thing. After I got my seat belts installed, I know the length is exactly what I want. There's no sense in having a whole bunch of this extra material. I always cut off the excess, but when you do, make sure you go back with a little blowtorch and you melt that edge. These will fray back and it gets really, really ugly and nasty in a hurry. So melt that back a little bit. It's a lot cleaner. You don't have any of that extra weight or those belt lengths running around doing no good at all. Just cut it off. After I got my seat finished up, I went ahead and mounted my throttle pedal. As you can see, I mount my throttle pedal at the same length pivot from what my brake pedal is, away from the driver. And then basically your angle is going to be tailor fit to the driver. The height is really important, so make sure it doesn't go too high or too low. Again, that kind of fits the driver and the size of the foot of him, but I prefer to keep my pivot at the same distance from the driver as the brake pivot.